my responsibility. But my responsibility ends there. I am not responsible for how deeply you engage or how superficially you engage. I am not responsible for that. So I can't carry burden for that. So this is my next challenge, to find my center and not get ruffled. Because I am interested in your knowing, so when I say, yeah, now this is, the person still has this question, how is it possible? So that means this is my next, I'm working on it. So this is what, that the mind has to, more and more focus, more and more settle, less and less ruffled, less and less distracted. Then, second benefit of japa. This is where Gabi, the story of half papad is going to come. So, because you said that tell the story. Yeah. So now, in addition to being distracted, we have a second problem in our habitual thinking. We have a second problem, and that is, it's actually not a problem, but it becomes a problem. So, it's what we call associative thinking. Thinking by association means that, not only we want to do this and we have some other thought, but that moving from one thought to the other, there is some association between thoughts. They are not just random, unconnected thoughts. That's how we, that associative thinking is actually a necessity. Because imagine, for any knowledge, you can't have that knowledge on the first day. Any sophisticated, advanced knowledge, there is always what? You build. On first day you give this much, then second day what? You build on that knowledge. The third day you further build on that knowledge. This is how we have passed from first grade to 10th grade. In the first grade, the 1 year that we are there, the teacher is what? The first day the teacher says something, the second day teacher is building on what the person has said on the first day. If you forgot what the person had said on the first day, no learning will take place. So it's associative learning. You keep this, then you increase, then you keep those two, then you increase, you keep those three, and then you increase. This is how we build knowledge. And your depth and the breadth becomes bigger. Now, that is a boon. Please don't think that it is, but along with the boon comes one possible drawback. Possible. That associative thinking also makes us build stories. This thing happened, I dealt with it, that thing happened, I dealt with it, but our mind doesn't work like that. Our mind tells a story of what is happening to me. Mind builds a story on how the world is. Mind builds a story on how that person is. Mind builds stories. Now, those stories are sometimes accurate, but a lot of times not so accurate. But we live from our stories, because all our decision making is done by not what is actually happening to me, but the stories that I have told myself about what is happening to me. So therefore, now, how do you break, because most of the time, a lot of your suffering comes from what? The stories that you have told. yourself. So I will give you an example, and that example is it's a simple example, but people love this example when I tell them. This is a story that I read as a small kid, and it is not a sophisticated story, it's a simple story. And it was written in Gujarati. The story is written in Gujarati. And the name of the story is Half Papad. Half Papad. Papadam. That thing that you eat. So, there was a man who, in India before, when there were weddings, especially in Gujarat, we would call everyone, and there will be like a huge place where you have thalis, and you have one thali with like 5 little cups, and then somebody comes and serves everyone. This is the way the jamar, marriage jamar. So nowadays people have buffet, but this is a jamar. So it's a sit-down lunch, and there is thali, and then there are katoris and everything, and the server comes and serves food. So this man had gone, and he's sitting there, and there are people on this side and then people on the other side. So everything is served, vegetable is served, puris are served, dal is served, and then comes the papadam. So papadam, there is a server, and he gives this 5 people, he's just saying that everybody gets full papad. When it comes to his turn, he gets half papad. And then the others all get full papad. So now this person is watching, and the first question that arises in his mind is, why everybody got full papad and I got half papad? That is the first question. But the story doesn't stop there. Then he builds on that story. And he says, yeah, maybe this person doesn't like me. And maybe this is a setup. To humiliate me. And this person is so mean. If he doesn't like me, he could have just told me, why is the need for such a big drama? Calling me to this event, then making me sit in the center, then serving full papads on this side, full papads on that side, and then me half papad. And this is really a humiliation, because the thing is only between 2 of us, no? But now he's involving everyone else. Everybody else also must have noticed that he's given me only half papad. So not only he's humiliating me, and it's only 2 of us, but he's humiliating me in front of everyone. So his mind gets engaged. For the rest of the lunch, while everybody is nicely enjoying this wedding food, which is supposed to be very delicious, this person, what happens?
Feels miserable.
Miserable. Stories are built. Now, the person goes home, the person can't get rid of the story. So that means the person carries the story. This is unacceptable to me. This kind of a humiliation I'm not going to accept. So I have to teach him a lesson. Then he says, yeah, how will I teach him a lesson? So maybe I can do the same so that he understands how bad it is to be humiliated in public. So he says, I am also going to arrange what? Event. I am also going to invite a lot of people. I'll make him sit right in the center, and I will serve full papad, and I will serve him half papad. Then I'll see how he feels. Then he says, Oh, but you know, right now I don't have money to have such a big party. So now I have to work really hard. And I have to save a lot of money to have a party of this size. So he works really hard. And while he's working very hard, there's only one thing in his mind, and that is what? And then he, with a lot of difficulty, saves his money, and then he invites him. He's happy now. Now time has come that I show. So he calls a big party, everybody is invited. Then he says, okay, now it's a sit-down lunch, and then he arranges, puts name tag of everyone, everywhere, who sits where, places it in the center. Then he starts getting people to serve. He says, let others serve, but I am going to serve papad because I want to see on his face what is the reaction. So then he serves full papad, and when he comes, he breaks it into half and he gives him half papad. And then he again serves full papad. Now he's waiting and he's watching and like, what is the reaction of the other person? The other person is nicely enjoying. He's totally oblivious to what there is half papad or full papad. This man is like, come on, I'm trying to convey a message, like nicely enjoying. So in the end he goes to him and he says, you know what, he says, aren't you, now have I taught you a lesson? He said, what lesson? He says, do you remember when you had humiliated me? What humiliation? It was just a server who was just serving and happened to be got half papad when you came. It was totally unintentional. So he says, I didn't even know that you got a half papad, and it was certainly not intentional. So, and he says, now you see, I gave you half papad. So I said, yeah, so if I wanted more, I could have always asked for more. I could have called and I could have said, can I have half papad more? What is the big deal? So, this is a kid reading the story. Gives an insight. How from nothing, through our associative thinking, we make it so big and hold on to it for years. Years. So you have to free yourself from this habit of story making. How? Japa helps. How does japa help? In this japa, what is the first chant? Om Ishaya Namah. What is the second chant? Not something else about what Isha is, which is what we call associative thinking, building on knowledge. Here when I build on knowledge. First I say it is the material and efficient cause. Then I build on it and I say what? It is sentient and insentient. Then I build on it. It is manifest, unmanifest. Then I build on it. What? That it is akarta. In spite of being everything, itself has no doership. It's all building up. So you need build-up. It's useful. But the same build-up, if you use it unwisely, it becomes stories which are creating suffering in us. So here you break that tendency. The first chant is Om Ishaya Namaha. Second is not building on it. Second is what? Om Ishaya Namaha. What is the third chant? Ishaya Namaha. What is the fourth chant? Ishaya Namaha. In this, you curb your associative thinking becomes deliberate. Here you have to use it. Here you can't say I don't want associative thinking. You have to use it because you have to build, you are building on your knowledge. But in the case of half papad, the same associative thinking has become what? It has taken you for a ride. Huh?
Ruined the life.
Ruined the life. So you have to be deliberate. When is associative thinking useful for me, and when it is counterproductive? You can't just dismiss everything. You have to use it productively. It's a capacity that is given to you. You have to use it wisely. Otherwise, it is like how a teacher used to say, my hand is given to me for my use, but the hand has ache, so let me chop it off. This is what we do. If the hand has ache, what do? You take care of it so that it's healed. You don't chop it off. Same thing. The associative thinking, we are not asking you to stop. It is useful. In some cases, all your knowledge is built like that. But at times, that associative thinking, so people say, oh, chop off your associative thinking. This is how. Emotions are giving you a problem, eliminate emotions. Associative thinking is giving you a problem, eliminate. This is simplistic. The same emotion can make you a saint, and the same emotion can potentially make you a mad person. Emotions don't whip on emotions. Emotions are there. If there was no emotion, then we will be like robots. But because you have given stories to yourself which have made your emotional life haywire and with too much weight, too much burden, then somebody comes and says, oh yeah, emotions are a problem, eliminate them. Oh yeah, this is a great master. Hey, if you have worked yourself to telling wrong stories, you correct those stories. If you try to eliminate emotions, you'll become a vegetable. People can't relate to you. Many times people have blocked themselves so much. It's impossible for people to relate. And unfortunately, at times they use Bhagavad Gita wrongly. They quote Bhagavad Gita that the Muni is the one who is totally free from what? The Sukha and Dukha. So you create an artificial state. Muni is free from Sukha and Dukha, it is a fact. But why? Not because the person has dumbed himself, desensitized oneself, because the person knows Atma to be free from Sukha and Dukha. It's a different thing altogether, what it is talking about. You use it haphazardly and try to implement in your life becomes a mess. So yes, Bhagavad Gita says it, but you have to be very careful as to how it says it, why it says it, under what context it says it, and what is the reality that it is being indicated about nature of Atma. Not that here you dumb your centers. So that means this opportunity of selective, distinguishing, discerning. When is associative thinking useful? I use it. Whenever it is creating suffering for me by adding stories, I have what? A capacity to see that it is going and I have to stop it. These are, every step of meditation has a very, very important function. People think that, oh, I've done meditation. Hey, what meditation have you done? Oh, I have closed my eyes and I have imagined some energies moving up and down. Okay, well, how does that help in knowledge? Oh yeah, because the Kundalini rises and then I'll be enlightened. Then they come and tell me this after listening to Vedanta. Then I have to work really hard on keeping myself. So that means there is another story going on in your mind. And you're not able to come out of it. So that means this step of what coming back, it does two things. It increases focus, it increases depth, and it what?
Associative thinking.
Exactly. Reduces the unwanted associative thinking. So that means you become much more deliberate in your what? Your using of your buddhi. You become deliberate in your actions, in your choices. You are not driven by habits. So this is the third step. And the fourth and the fifth step actually came earlier. The fourth step is what? Seeing the meaning of the chant. What does Ishaya Namaha mean to you? Who is this Isha? Is Isha this external presence away from me? Or Isha is something which pervades everything, including my body and my mind? That all-pervading presence which is manifesting in all these different forms and in form of the laws. Understanding the infallibility of that presence, I heal myself. Nama. I unload all my frustrations, all my deprivations, all my low self-esteem, my victim, everything is unloaded.
But here Namaha means what?
Namaha means I see the infallibility of the daughter and I
salute it, bow down to it.
I unload and I get well. So this is what we say the meaning of the chant. So this is Vedanta meditation. These steps, each step is a very significant step. Each step helps the other step and then until the time that you totally get well. So, this is what we say now. Here he says that, so there is like a chariot which is what unruly house is yoked. So now this is what, that the mind which goes all over the place will never be able to understand Vedanta. So you are using your buddhi, your prefrontal cortex to re-understand everything and manage everything. All your faculties are very useful. So this is your faculties. Please don't say that this is not me. These are the faculties which are given to you to understand the reality. If these faculties were not there, there was no possibility of inquiry into the reality, let alone understanding the reality. So therefore, but the meditation is, the whole meditation is preparation. And even here it says, once you become the person who knows the reality, any challenge can come the next day. There is a very nice verse in Gujarati that Na janyu janaki na the savare shu thawani. So So that means Janakinath is Lord Rama. Lord Rama, what was going to happen to him the next day? They were preparing for his coronation. The entire Ayodhya city was preparing for him to be the king.
Without knowing what is likely.
Tomorrow morning, what is going to happen? Then Kaikai decides to cash in her boon. Even he didn't know. A wise person also doesn't know what tomorrow is going to bring. The person is not creating an artificial state by telling oneself, oh yeah, whatever happens, I'm Atma, I'm Atma, I'm Atma. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. That is silly. The person has trust in Ishvara. Whatever happens is within the order. And the same order which gives me situation, the same order gives me the faculty to deal with it. And if I use it appropriately, there is no situation which is not dealable. That is the trust. That is the trust with which one lives one's life. No denial, no artificial nonsense here. Artificial nonsense means it's a trip. So that means this is I have trust. And what? Even if one, so this is what he says, Bhayanakani. No matter how, for Rama, that was a major turmoil in his life. From being a king to going to the forest. From where to where. Here the wise person says, hey, tomorrow I don't know what will happen. But I will deal with the clarity. Clarity of my knowledge. Clarity of my trust. Clarity about infallibility of Ishvara. And also clarity about what is my true relationship with the body and mind. Clarity. So this is what the whole meditation is. The next we will see what next.
Yesterday you have given us some definition of meditation and just thinking.
Yeah.
Sadhana Brahma.
Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara.
You can translate for me. Sadhana Brahma is without.
Is Ishvara.
Yeah, without. Sadhana means without.
Sadhana. No. So Sadhana means the there is a tradition which says Brahman, which is the same Brahman when it is seen from the Upadhi. The Upadhi is what? That all knowledge and all power is called Ishvara, is called Saguna Brahma. The same Brahman when it is seen from its own standpoint, it is Nirguna, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam.
And it doesn't mean without and with attributes?
So yeah, but it's not, yes, literally yes, but it is not like there are two Brahmans, one is with attribute and the other one is without attribute. So this is what? The same Brahman seen from its, this capacity to create is what we call Saguna Brahma. And that is what we call Ishvara. And the same Brahman seen from its own standpoint, it is Satyam Jnanam Anandam.
And what does mean Vishaya?
Vishaya is the subject matter. Subject matter of meditation is Saguna Brahma. Relating to Ishvara.
It is Manasa Vyapara.
So, Vyapara is a activity. What kind of activity? Meditation is an activity. What kind of activity? It is Manasa. It is mental activity.
Vyapara is activity.
then, and what is the Vishaya, what is the subject matter of this activity? It is relating to Ishvara.
Okay. Thank you. That's good.
So, the next one that we will see next. Yes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamidam